absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderous scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive. They're selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot belly goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up, N-word, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive. And continue along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.
ass, and I'll tell them, "Oh, I killed a cow out back, baby." You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. And that's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna get my hands around your throat.
What rolls downstairs, a motor in pairs, rolls over your neighbor's dog? What's great for a snack and fits on your back? It's log, log, log. It's log, log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's log, log. It's better than that, it's good. Everyone wants a log. You're gonna love it long. Come on and get your log. Everyone needs a log.
Log from Blammo.
It's another B-Word broadcast. Let's go. How you doing, chat? How's it going? We got another big stream for you tonight. Holy jeez. Oh man, history's being made, everybody. It's happening. I'm super excited. It is August 24th. It's a Thursday. I am streaming at an unusual hour because it is just so crazy. Welcome to the Be Weird broadcast, coming at you live from Montreal, Quebec. We're taking a closer look at the arrest of Trump. We're on Trump arrest watch. We got the debate to go check out. There is the interview on Tucker Carlson. There is so much happening. Like, oh my god, it is honestly popping off. So we're gonna get all up in that, and I'm super excited. I hope you're excited too. It's gonna be a good stream. How you been? I know I was just streaming yesterday, but yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm super excited. It's gonna be a good stream. I'm looking forward to seeing the mugshot. That's kind of the big draw. I tell you what. So yeah, we're gonna hop right into a bunch of stuff is already happening. A bunch of news just broke. So I'm super excited to get into it. I hope you're doing good. We're gonna pop off soon. Blast off on Facebook and Twitter. But in personal news situation, I'm just finally met the character, the breakdancer I'm gonna be performing with in Vaudreuil. I'm pretty excited. He seems super chill, and yeah, we're gonna find some time to like mash our pieces together. So yeah, let's I guess that's the only update I have. Let's get into it. Fuck. Let's go see what's going on in the wonderful world of CNN. There is some stuff that broke that was super interesting. So we're gonna just start off with that. I'm just a little scrambled this evening. Okay, here we go. So this is some news. Trump replaces top Georgia lawyer ahead of surrender. So that's already pretty interesting. And we've got the actual live feed going on right now in background. There's not much happening. There's a bunch of like media and protesters that are just outside the Fulton County City Jail. Is that what it's called? Fulton County Jail? And so yeah, there's not much to see right now. He's supposed to show up in like 45 minutes. So while we're waiting on that, like stuff has been happening. He replaced his...
Maggie, I mean,
what?
This ruling now from the judge warning about Trump can't threaten anybody, a witness, this is kind of an odd line. I mean, he's running against Mike Pence. If he tweets something negative about Mike Pence, where's the line here?
We are in unprecedented territory, and we have, I think, grown tired of saying that, but it really happens to be true here. I think we're going to find out where the line is, and I think that as we have seen with former President Trump over and over again with his social media feed and his commentary, he tends to test exactly where that line is. We have seen him do it in the federal cases against him. I think we will see him do it here, but you are right. It's a very broad stroke, and so I don't know quite what this is going to look like. What Trump's lawyers have said over and over is that his free speech rights are being targeted, and he is the front runner for the Republican nomination. It's impossible to divorce all of this from that context.
Oh man, oh geez. Okay, this one, we're gonna take a look at this a bit later. More importantly, Mark Meadows surrendered. That's
Mark
big
Meadows
news.
has now surrendered to authorities in Georgia.
The former White House chief of staff turned himself in just hours before former President Trump is also expected to. The booking photo for Mark Meadows has been released to the public. Meadows was processed at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. Georgia officials have accused him, Trump, and 17 others of scheming to overturn the 2020 election.
Now, unlike the previous criminal cases, former President Trump will have a booking photo taken as well. At least 11 of the 19 defendants have now turned themselves in. All of the defendants have been ordered to surrender by noon Friday. Joining us.
I'm just gonna blast off. If you are not following me on Twitter, you should be. That's when I mostly post cool shit that I'm doing. That sweet Trump mugshot. It's gonna be meme to death. Yeah, I'm salivating, literally salivating. How's it going, Arcades?
Now from Atlanta is CBS News Homeland Security and Justice reporter Nicole Skanger. Nicole, great to see you again. I understand activity really picking up outside the courthouse and the jailhouse, the key locations here in this last hour. What can you tell us about Meadows' surrender and what else is expected to happen in the next few hours?
Yeah, I've been dreaming about this moment.
Errol, good to be with you. Some activity is picking up here outside the Fulton County Jail. And former Chief of Staff to President Trump, Mark Meadows, surrendering inside. His fingerprints were taken, as you mentioned.
My computer's
he would have
bricked.
gotten a booking photo. We're yet to see that booking photo. A quick medical evaluation, height, weight. But he was in and out and did not make remarks to the press. Now, there was a real question of whether or not Mark Meadows would even surrender this week. His attorneys have moved to get his case removed from Fulton County Superior Court to federal court, arguing that he was operating in his official capacity as a federal
I have to get a line on like this story that Trump just switched his attorney.
Officer in his chief of staff position when all of this went down, and that this case should be heard in federal court. There is a hearing on Monday in that case as lawyers were trying to get his surrender deadline moved back. The court said no, and so we saw him appear at the jail today instead, just hours before the anticipated arrival of the former president and the heightened security here on the ground.
The computer's struggling.
Nicole, tell us where you are in
Too much
in
history.
your location. How the proximity to the jail. We've been seeing some different areas there. It looks like perhaps you're in a press area or maybe near the demonstrators. I also understand that you've talked to some of them who actually came to Atlanta for Trump's surrender.
Yeah, there's some on the ground footage. I have some. It's really boring though. It's like poor quality and loud and annoying, full of traffic. But we'll keep an eye on it.
Lana, we are on the Rice Street side of the Fulton County Jail. There are two entrances to this jail. Lots of angles here and lots of law enforcement all around. You can see some unmarked vehicles behind me. These belong to the SWAT team of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office.
I'll see if I can pull it up.
As for protesters, there are dozens who have come out in
Dozens
today. Some of the former president's most ardent supporters. Lots of MAGA.
Associated Press stopped. They're doing like a sky view now.
Hats, 2024 Trump signs. I spoke with a group who drove 9 hours from New Orleans as part of a church group to pray for the president outside. Also spoke to several Atlanta residents who have turned out in
praying for him.
Former President Trump. One thing that surprised me is, everyone I've spoken with has told me, yes, they're excited to perhaps see the former president, but really they want him to see them and to understand that they have his back. Take a listen. I spoke with Atlanta resident Laura Bozeman-Year.
Okay, I got a local news feed.
What do you hope to see today when he? Well, not what I hope to see. What I want him.
Just my computer is like straining under the pressure I'm placing on it. Work harder, computer. This is important. Okay, this is the scene.
I just don't want anything to get tripped or.
Yeah, it's a church group. You have a church group. It's gonna go pray. You can go fix it. Everybody knows that you can get out of an indictment, a criminal charge, by just praying super hard. So yeah, as you can see, it's pretty boring right now. I feel like this is gonna pick up in the next little bit, next half an hour. But I can't just like keep it running. My computer's glitching out. So let's listen to some of these interviews. I got some debate reacts.
Is that we're here, we have his back, we're going to support him no matter what, and we're willing to stand out here. The heat is nothing new for Trump supporters
right now.
So I'm a Trump supporter.
You think someone's going to try something? I hope not.
Trump
won.
Trump and support freedom of speech and the Constitution of the United States.
Trump won is a complete sentence.
Nicole, really interesting.
And you heard it there in the heat or in the snow. It is certainly hot out here, Lana. I just want to point out that as all of these folks are gathering, it is 90 degrees and counting, a high of 95 today, so no small feat for protesters, demonstrators, and supporters who have been outside for hours, some of them camping overnight nearby so they could catch a glimpse, perhaps, of the former president's motorcade.
I was just going to say how interesting it was that she was wearing a hat that said Trump won on it.
The central lie that former President Trump is being accused of perpetuating. So, Nicole, considering
almost
you've
call
got
it a
some
big
of the
lie.
former president's strongest supporters outside the jailhouse, there's so much attention, not just from the media, but from everybody. What are some of the additional security measures being taken? I know that at one entrance of the jailhouse, there's a police cruiser. seeming to be on standby. I know there are barricades at the Fulton County Courthouse. What else are you seeing?
Well, you can see just over my left shoulder here, there are bicycle racks. Those extend down the street, and protesters and media alike being held behind those barricades. The street that we're on, Rice Street, being closed off to any incoming traffic. Interestingly enough, this is still a fully operating jail, and so we've watched as police, law enforcement, Fulton County Sheriff deputies have been walking out inmates who have been released today, and instead of just letting them go, they've had to walk them down the road to the side of the highway to ensure their safety. So still a fully operational jail here, but a much larger security footprint. In addition to the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, we've seen local support from Gwinnett County. Their sheriffs are here in full force. The Atlanta Police Department, and of course the U.S. Secret Service, which has personnel lining the roads around this jail in anticipation of the former president's arrival. Pretty soon they will put up a no drone zone. The FAA putting a no-fly zone in place from 6:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. again ahead of the former president's arrival, just locking everything down.
And Nicole, before we let you go, the majority of the defendants have turned themselves in at this point, but some still haven't. If they don't surrender by tomorrow, what are the repercussions?
Yeah, at least 10 so far have turned themselves in, but there are still a large handful of defendants who have not surrendered to authorities, though many of those, we still anticipate all of those actually will surrender to authorities. They all have, consent bond orders or agreements on what their bond will be set at. That being said, the Fulton County DA, Fonnie Willis, has made it very clear that the deadline tomorrow, Friday at noon, is a hard deadline. And at that time, if certain defendants have not turned themselves in, there will be arrest warrants filed, and the Fulton County Sheriff's Office is equipped and prepared to carry out those arrests.
Yo.
All right, some more great reporting.
Some of these
from
people get
Nicole
arrested?
Scanga. Stay cool out there as the day heats up. We appreciate it.
Stay cool. House raids? They're gonna set up like sting operations? Okay. Woo! Look at that entrance, baby. That sure is an entrance. Okay, come back. Yeah, I really wanted to dig into this story about Trump replacing his attorney. There's no shot. Do they have a text? Yeah. Former President Donald Trump has replaced his top Georgia lawyer ahead of his surrender Thursday evening, sources tell CNN. In replacing Drew Finling with Stephen Sadow, an Atlanta-based attorney whose website profile describes him as a special counsel for white-collar and high-profile defense, Trump is adding an attorney. Here, I'll actually make this. I'll go like this. It's probably more fun to risk. All right. In replacing Drew Finling with Stephen Sadow, an Atlanta-based attorney, he has a special counsel for white-collar and high-profile defense. Trump is adding an attorney who has previously challenged the state's broad RICO law, under which Trump and his 18 co-defendants have been charged. Sadow filed paperwork Thursday morning to formally represent the former president in the case. Thursday morning? Today? It just... A Trump source indicated that this was not about Finling's performance, while another, familiar with Sadow, called him the, quote, best criminal defense attorney in Georgia. Oof. Trump's other Georgia attorney, Jennifer Little, is expected to stay on the legal team and work with Sadow. Quote, I have been retained to represent President Trump in the Fulton County, Georgia case. The president should never have been indicted. He is innocent of all the charges brought against him, Sadow said in a statement. We look forward to the cases being dismissed. Or, if necessary, an unbiased, open-minded jury finding the president not guilty. Prosecutions intended to advance or serve the ambitions and careers of political opponents of the president have no place in our justice system, end quote. In 2021, Sadow criticized RICO charges as a way for prosecutors to introduce evidence that would otherwise not be admissible during an interview about the prudential charges Trump faces in Georgia. Sato also represented rapper Gunna in a separate RICO case brought by Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis last year that accused the rapper, whose real name is Sergio Kitchens, of participating in criminal street gang activity. In December, Kitchens was released after reaching a plea deal that resulted in community service. Really? Yeah, this is not always the cleanest story either. From what I understand, like Fulton County Jail is like also being investigated by like the FBI for bad like detention or something to that effect. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, he switched his lawyer. That's crazy. That is absolutely wild. Who does that? You're like just about to go to trial and you're like, let's get one of the backbenchers in. Okay, so this might be the attorney that maybe he got kicked off because Jake Tapper grilled him on CNN. Let's see.
John Eastman's lawyer, Harvey Silverglate.
Oh, it's John Eastman's
joins
lawyer.
us now. Mr. Silverglate, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start by getting your reaction to District Attorney Fannie Willis's proposed trial date
like late stage, going against the Final Four.
Start of October 23rd. What do you make of that?
It's never going to happen.
Make attorneys get attorneys.
What do you think would be a more
much longer?
What do you think would be a more reasonable start date?
I would say this case will start trial anywhere from 18 to 24 months from now.
18 to 24 months.
Another co-conspirator in the case, Kenneth Cheesebro, is asking for a speedy trial. Do you personally want this trial to happen sooner or later?
Well, let me tell you what we're going to do. Eastman is in a very different position from every other defendant in that he was acting as a lawyer giving legal advice. He was not part of a conspiracy, assuming there even was a conspiracy.
30 minutes.
We are going to move to sever his case from the others.
Smart.
And move for a severed trial, which means we want to be tried alone. And we believe that the trial of Eastman alone will take about 3 weeks.
That's so funny. It's like, I know you're charging me as part of this grand criminal conspiracy, but could you just maybe charge me as like just an accountant who stole a little bit, you know?
It's a very simple case.
Oh,
we
my
expect
goodness.
to win it in 3 weeks.
Oh, that mugshot.
And we'd like to have a speedy trial. That is, we'd like him to be tried right away. It'll take 3 weeks, and the whole nightmare will be over for him. That's what we're going to do.
The nightmare will be
One
over.
of the allegations made by District Attorney Fannie Willis, and for our audience, we should remind everyone that individuals are innocent until proven guilty. But one of the allegations is that your client knew that information he and Donald Trump were submitting in 2021, I believe September 2021, in a lawsuit alleging malfeasance in Georgia, that Mr. Eastman knew that the information was false in the sworn document. What is your response to that?
Eastman was coming up with all kinds of theories that were very different, very new, very cutting edge, and was tossing them out. I want to point out something.
Just tossing out theories.
Eastman didn't bribe anybody. He
Just
didn't
spitballing.
threaten anybody. He threw out legal theories that it turned out were wrong, but at the time they were
As one judge called it, a coup in search of a legal theory.
perfectly. That's the job of a lawyer. Throw out all kinds of cutting-edge theories.
Yeah?
Try it and see what flies.
Just
he
make
did
shit
not
up.
bribe anybody. He did not commit any perjury. We expect that his defense will be he acted as lawyers have been acting for hundreds of years.
Hundreds.
And he did nothing criminal.
But Mr. Silverglate,
none of this makes sense.
The assertion made by the district attorney is not that there were unproven or false legal theories in this sworn document. It was that there were assertions of fact that Mr. Eastman knew to be untrue. Claims about alleged election malfeasance in Georgia that were just false and had been asserted to be false by individuals like the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, for months and repeatedly. that is not the same, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is not the same as a flawed legal theory, a fraudulent assertion of fact.
Correct me if you're wrong.
But tell me what's criminal about it. He didn't
Lying
bribe
to the
anybody.
public as part of a criminal
Tell me what's criminal.
conspiracy.
He didn't force anybody.
Well, I believe
to
that the
accept
chart, I think making false statements in a sworn document is considered fraud, is it not?
Well, that will be determined in a trial.
Oh,
I don't
no.
think that anything Eastman did constitutes fraud.
My man just walked
and
into that.
That's for the court to decide. And we'd like it to be decided sooner rather than later. This is a very unusual case. It's the first of its kind. And it is a RICO case, which makes it...
Your Honor, I was really creative in the way I robbed this bank with my pals. I really think you should put me to the side. I was only like working on my computer, you know, like separate from all the people who were doing the shooting and the driving and the give me all your money thing, you know, like I was just transferring the money through a variety of shell accounts. You should really just try me separately, Your Honor. I really don't know why you're wrapping me up in this. This is awesome, man. Like, what is this?
Duly complicated. This could have been a very simple case. It could have been 10 pages. This is like a telephone book here. We will find out. I think he's going to be acquitted. And you can call me back at the end of the case, and you could either I'll say I told you so, or you'll say I told you so.
Well, be that as it may, I believe what Fani Willis is suggesting in this indictment is that she has written correspondence from your client, John Eastman, suggesting that he knows the information in the document to be false, advising Donald Trump not to sign the document because the information, the assertions are false, and then nonetheless he and Donald Trump submit the document, even though John Eastman is, at least according to Fani Willis, I believe, on record in documentation saying he knows the information to be false.
Well, he advised his client not to sign it. That was his role as a lawyer.
Oh, shit.
And,
everybody's trying to guess. Sorry to interrupt. This is really funny. In the mega thread for Trump being booked at the Fulton County Jail, everybody's just trying to guess what his height and weight is going to be. It's incredible how, like, the most trivial and basic information, if kept secret, can just develop this magnetic allure. It would just become, like, impossible to resist. 5'2" ice of blue. Oh, man.
We will see whether or not that's criminal. I do not believe he acted in any way criminally. But that's to be decided not by you and not by me, but by the court.
Are you concerned at all that other co-defendants or any of the 30 unindicted co-conspirators
30
might now be cooperating with District Attorney Fani Willis's office behind your back to get your client in jail, to put him in prison?
Not concerned at all, as long as they tell the truth. The problem with plea bargains, as you probably know, is that when a prosecutor says to a defendant, if you're convicted, we're going to recommend 10 years. If you cooperate, we're going to recommend probation. The problem with that is it gets many people to tell a false story. You know, the way we...
Dang, it's almost like stories can be corroborated with other pieces of evidence.
Lawyers put it, the prosecutors cause the defendants not only to sing, but also to compose. It's the composing part that's concerning. If they tell the truth, we have no fears whatsoever.
Well, my confidence went up that John Eastman is gonna eat it. That was awesome to watch. I think he's screwed. There's no chance. Apparently, Trump is in for a humiliating experience. Humiliating everybody? Oh man, this is chef's kiss. Truly like opera stuff, Shakespearean. Detainees at the Fulton County Jail are typically processed in front of others. A local sheriff has promised that Trump will be treated just like everyone else accused of a crime, in which case, very poorly. He's in for a humiliating experience. A lawyer who has sued the facility 3 times on behalf of families of men who unalived while in custody there. Oh, yeah, like I said, Fulton County State Jail is not good, apparently. The sheriff's office did not respond to insiders' request for comment on whether special accommodations will be made for Trump. Atlanta-based attorney Michael Harper told Insider that the intake area is massive and detainees are typically processed in front of others who are also being protested. What does that even mean? Oh, like in a line. Yeah, just being searched, photographed, and fingerprinted amongst other people. If it is, in fact, business as usual at the jail, Trump will be surrounded by people charged with everyday crimes. Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You sure his cellmates will have strong opinions? Exactly. It's going to be a total lockdown. They closed the airspace. you won't be able to fly a drone. I wonder if the Associated Press's sky shot is going to go away then. Good. Got some live updates here. I'm gonna pull up. C-SPAN. Even C-SPAN's getting in on it.
That we're going to see that route. And if that's true with this traffic, 20 to 30 minutes. Wouldn't you guess that would probably be the amount of time between where he is getting off of this this staircase right now and finding himself in that jail?
Yeah,
did he say 30 minutes?
Especially if there
and
are
Trump will be in jail?
And we have seen the standby motorcade make its way to the plane from our vantage point. That's happening on the opposite side of where we are, so we cannot see exactly when the president will come down the stairs. Again, that is on the opposite side of where we are right now, but we have seen that motorcade shift position to move closer to the airplane, and so we do anticipate again that the former president will be stepping off of that plane very shortly to begin making his way to the Fulton County Jail. Now, what will be interesting is to see how long this process takes. We understand it could take anywhere as short as 15 to 20 minutes. We do understand that that process took significantly longer amounts of times for some of the co-defendants who have already turned themselves in at the Fulton County Jail. So that will be something that we will watch, because we understand that there will be security measures taken place, or put in place rather, for when he does arrive at the Rice Street facility, because we know that they won't be allowing other things to take place as the former president is in there. We do see some action. We see more folks walking around out there on the tarmac out there, so we are waiting to see when those cars will begin moving to get the former president to the Fulton County Jail to begin that booking process.
That is going to be interesting to follow tonight is what his tact will be in Atlanta. And I'm saying above and beyond getting fingerprinted and your mug shot and posting bail, all of that. You know, we saw earlier this afternoon on Twitter, now X, where he came out, you know, full blazing at District Attorney Fani Willis about Atlanta is a murder capital. You can't go out and buy a loaf of bread without fearing for your life. It seemingly set the stage for what he will be in the midst of tonight, that he is going to be on the offensive in terms of these charges, which he has said from the very beginning he believes to be bogus.
Pretty ironic.
Yes, Jeff, I do agree with that. If he does make any comments tonight, they will likely be along that same vein. We do know that the former president also went on his own platform, Truth Social, earlier today to say that he would be arrested at 7:30. We know he's likely probably a little behind on that anticipated time. Again, we have been following this, and y'all have been mentioning weather conditions that were occurring in New Jersey as we were waiting for the former president to depart on his way down here. So it does seem as if he's made up for some time after a late departure.
I can't believe this is
but
happening.
Again, we will be anticipating that he will likely be booked between the 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock hour when we finally see him leave the airport here and begin to make his way down to the Rice Street facility in Fulton County.
And we did have some big developments in his counsel. Actually, this morning we found out that he dropped one of his attorneys, Drew Finley, and is now having Stephen Sadow represent him. And he actually, Sadow confirmed that he will be traveling with the...
Oh, there he is! That's my president!
Getting off of the plane right now. Jennifer,
that's my president!
From here, he's walking down the steps.
Oh, look at him. He's so graceful. He looks so majestic.
Yes, as we mentioned earlier, we are on the opposite side of
Trump
this
won.
plane, so we actually don't have a vantage that I can see personally of the former president deplaning. But we do see a lot of folks with their cell phones up and people who are waiting on the tarmac to greet him. Once again, we do know that Atlanta police have shut down this roadway leading up to Signature Air. People are having to turn around and go in the direction from which they came. We also see lots of media outlets that are across the street from Signature Air anticipating and waiting for that motorcade to depart. We see a large group of folks now walking away from that plane. We presume that that does include the former president. We're seeing him possibly between in this group. And it looks as if they are heading to these vehicles right now, and this will likely begin that motorcade process. Yes, Faith?
Okay, if you can hear me, I just wanted to give you from our vantage point. So President Trump walked down the steps. He did get into one of those black SUVs, so they should be departing momentarily. Just to give you an update, just because I know that you all are seeing it from the other side of the plane. So the former president is in one of those SUVs.
It's going to be guess the SUV for the next hour.
Yeah, and we did see a large group of folks heading towards them. And again, we will anticipate that very soon those vehicles will take off. And again, as I mentioned, that does include a Atlanta Airport emergency crew vehicle. It's bright neon colors. And then there are also some Atlanta police vehicles that are included as well that we believe will be part of this motorcade. We also mentioned that there's a series of motorcycles.
Yeah, I hope there's
We see law enforcement members standing by on them closer to the entrance of Signature Air. And so we anticipate that once that motorcade does begin to start making its way to the entrance, that those motorcycles will either lead and end this motorcade once it begins.
Isn't he just going to post bail? Won't he just post bail and not have to go to jail? Isn't that the whole point of bail?
All right, Jennifer, thank you. If you are joining us right now, former President Trump's plane landed at Hartsfield-Jackson about 5 minutes after 7 o'clock. And about 10 minutes later, he was able to deplane. And from the time that he exited the aircraft to the time that he got into the SUV, took about a minute. He paused briefly, gave a thumbs up to those who were cheering him on.
Can you imagine like what it's like for you to not only be aware of each minute that's passing, but also aware that there's millions of people all paying attention to every single passing minute? It's awesome. Oh, I hope the pressure gets to him.
Leaves here from Atlanta Hartsfield. You can see plenty of police presence in front, and former President Donald Trump is presumably in one of these vehicles right here behind. We're watching him. Landed about 14 minutes ago, deplaned, and now is in this motorcade headed to the Fulton County Jail. Of course, the jail is about 14 miles away from here, so typically that takes about 30 minutes. Of course, with the roads being closed off, that time could be different. Take a look. We know that President Donald Trump is in one of these vehicles leaving. Of course, they have plenty of security in front and behind all afternoon. There's been Atlanta police here, Secret Service, Georgia State Police, all waiting in anticipation of the plane landing. Of course, it did land. It is now headed right now to the Fulton County Jail. Of course, we have crews here. We also have crews there at the jail and crews along the way. We'll bring you the very latest as it comes. We're actually going to jump in and try to follow the motorcade right now, so we're sending it back to you in the studio.
All right, Tracy, thank you so much. So as you all just saw right there, former President Donald Trump, his plane landed just after 7 o'clock. He walked down the stairs. He did not say anything, got into one of the black SUVs. The motorcade took off, and now he is on his way to the Fulton County Jail, as our Tracy Pierre was reporting. It'll probably take them about 30 minutes, and I imagine with the police escort, they might be able to get out of. You guys know how bad the Atlanta traffic is.
That area, particularly around there, it's 7:15 on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
It is very, very congested. And you've got a Falcons football game also that's a component in all of this. But you've got a rolling roadblocks, which is a very efficient way to get VIPs through the streets of a major metropolis, where you have law enforcement working up about a mile and a half in advance. They will stop all levels of traffic in all directions so that the individual and the motorcade may pass, and then they let it resume. So that way you don't have that sort of log jam that you did in previous years when you would certainly close off all of these routes indefinitely for a very extended period of time.
And if you're taking a look here wondering what the heck are we looking at right here, this is actually a camera and one of the vehicles following the motorcade. So you're actually going on the route that former President Trump is going on right now through the streets of Atlanta, headed to the Fulton County Jail. And it's going to be interesting to see. So this is the former president's 4th criminal indictment. He's headed to the Rice Street facility. He has 18 co-defendants here, and we've seen several of these mugshots of his co-defendants coming out. And that's a big question that a lot of people have. Will we finally get a Fulton County mugshot of the former president? Sheriff Pat Labatt says he's going to be treated just like any other person that comes into the jail.
Well, the expectation in Twitter is a buzz, now known as X, with so many people trending right now talking about that very fact, about seeing a mugshot of former President Trump is sort of what everybody is waiting for to see tonight. And this will become the stuff of campaign badge of honor for the Republicans, those who support Donald Trump in his quest for the White House once again. But that is, one of the major headlines tonight is seeing that mugshot, something, despite the other indictments in other states, this will be a first for him.
Absolutely. And the former president, he did negotiate a bond. So that means that he will not be staying the night in jail. He's going to go in, get processed, and then go home. That bond, $200,000. He could either pay that in cash or he could pay a 10% of that. So that would be $20K to do his processing, get his fingerprints, potential mugshot.
Just a cool $20K.
And head back to New Jersey.
Steve Sadow now is his defense attorney. That is one of the developments today. And if you've lived in Atlanta for any period of time over the last 30 years, you recognize that name, whether it is the Ray Lewis trial, it is the Gold Club trial that was so celebrated around the country about the strip club and gangster activity within.
More recently, the YSL trial.
The YSL trial also is involved with T.I., and he has been a very
like
prominent defense attorney for a very long time.
Criminal
product
lawyer
of the Emory Law School, and one of the great superstars of courtroom drama, certainly in these parts.
Absolutely, and now we are taking an aerial view from the 11 Alive Sky Tracker. You can see that motorcade moving on through. And Jeff, as I expected, police escort. It looks like they are bruising on through, not bad traffic, no traffic for the former president. So it looks like he's going to be getting to the Fulton County Jail in no time. But when he does get there, I'll tell you what, we have seen images since.
All the locals are like, wow, what a dream to drive on that highway and not have traffic.
Opponents gathering at the jail, media, as well as some residents that live around there that have had a little bit of issues coming in and out. But people are from here in Atlanta. They've driven from Florida. Some people have probably flown in to be there and either show their support or protest the former president showing up there.
So right here on the interstate, as you make your way northbound toward downtown Atlanta, traffic will begin to pick up, or generally it does, if we can generalize Atlanta traffic, which is probably not a very good thing to do, certainly on a Thursday night. But so far it has been clear sailing, but this will begin to probably log jam a little bit here as it gets closer to the downtown area and the former Turner Field.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said, we're taking an aerial look right here. This is a historic moment for the city of Atlanta. And people keep using this word, unprecedented. This is now the 4th criminal indictment, but it is unprecedented. And this is probably, the biggest booking.
Like, you wouldn't be able to. You'd be stuck waiting in traffic. Like, why are police stopping me from going anywhere? The only people in that is the motorcade and a few journalists. like C-SPAN.
But so it's going to be very interesting to see what comes down when we see the president get to the jail there.
Well, the context of this is very dramatic. You're talking about 2024 election season right around the corner, and you're wondering what sort of implications this will have toward the eventual Republican nominee. Last night from Milwaukee, we saw those who want to be the Republican nominee, and they are, if you believe polling right now, they are a long way behind Mr. Trump, as he is the front runner to become the Republican nominee in 2024. But you know,
definitely very ominous.
We talked about this a couple of minutes before we went on the air. We're not that far away from Iowa, and you've got these indictments looming. You have this arrest. What does this look like? Governor Kemp yesterday on a podcast from Miami was asked about that specifically, about Donald Trump way out in front right now, and the governor made an interesting correlation that I think a lot of us here in Atlanta will understand. He said the numbers 28-3.
He did.
Invoking the Falcons' storied collapse in the Super Bowl, where they were up late in the third quarter, 28-3, and of course lost that Super Bowl to the New England Patriots, who were able to come back. So the sports correlation there, politically, that there is a long way to go.
Some inside baseball.
A GOP nominee is picked next summer. But this is just one of the steps on the ladder and trying to understand how this all plays, not only in the court system, which we have covered in great detail and will continue to do so, and the political ramifications. Certainly we saw the House of Representatives today, Republicans led by Congressman in Ohio, that they are going to investigate District Attorney Fani Willis over all of this that has transpired. So
it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out.
And the other issue, though, that's very hard to gauge right now is what it's going to mean for voters and how they will perceive this and how they will look at this as it can.
What's going on?
Good evening. This is C-SPAN's coverage of former President Trump's arrival at the Fulton County Jail in Georgia to be booked on charges of allegedly attempting to overturn the 2020 election results in that state. On the left hand side of your screen, a shot from the motorcade as they proceed to the Fulton County Jail. On the right side of your screen, there's the entrance to the jail located on what's been described as Rice Street. This is going to play out all for a good chunk of the evening, and we want to take your calls on this event tonight as it occurs in Georgia. Here's how you can call and give us your thoughts on today's activities concerning former President Trump. For Republicans, it's 202-748-8001. Democrats, 202-748-8000. All others, 202-748-8000.
Your call-ins are incredible. Yeah, you know to rub your hands.
If you want to send us a text, you can do that at 202-748-8003.
Politics Frogs eating good.
X, that's at C-SPAN.
Eating good tonight.
You can also post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/C-SPAN. As we await your call, some stories from today related to former President Trump's booking today. CBS reporting earlier today that the president is expected to have his booking photo taken.
Yes.
He's also expected to be fingerprinted and have his eye scanned for biometric identification. He's also expected to post a $200,000 bond. A story earlier, just about in the last half hour, saying that he's expected to pay a $20,000 fee to a bond bailsman in order to secure that bond. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution, with the headline from today, reminding folks that this is just the booking phase and related to the charges that the former president faces. He's expected to be arraigned, where he will hear his formal charges brought against him and enter his plea reportedly during the week of September 5th. It's reported today that District Attorney Fani Willis has proposed an October 23rd start date for the trial. Reports saying
they're going to
that
give
the judge has a
they don't have I can't believe it. Really? C-SPAN's the only one doing like live updates. There's no way. Oh, I got to choose my provider, do I?
But that's the reporting as of today. It was earlier today, by the way, that former President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, turned himself in and was processed.
Look at this live.
Who advised the president's fake electors, the former president's fake electors, Kathy Latham, the former Coffee County, Georgia GOP chair, and a fake elector, and also Harrison Floyd, executive director of the Black Voices for Trump. By the way, he's the only one staying in a jail with no current bond agreement. He was accused of assaulting an FBI agent in Maryland. That was back in February. Just to remind you of some of the charges facing former President Trump when it comes to these charges concerning the Georgia election. 13 total, but here's a portion of them. Racketeering, solicitation in violation of oath by police, conspiracy to impersonate police, conspiracy to commit forgery, conspiracy to file false statements and writings, conspiracy to file false documents, and filing false documents. That's just a portion of those charges expected to be put against the former president.
Let's try this again.
Motorcade and watching him make his way 15 minutes away. And yeah, you did say it's the fourth time, which is already today, because Donald Trump's not getting booked in the courthouse. He's not getting special privileges where he doesn't get a mugshot. There's going to be a mugshot. There's going to be height and weight. And guess what? He's going to a jail today. Can you just close your eyes and picture Donald Trump with his golden toilets in a jailhouse?
Hell yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
That's
it's
awesome.
Awe-instructing. And if he doesn't understand the gravity of the situation after today, I don't know that anything will make it real for him. But right now, this is a major ordeal. And I have to tell you, Lexi, what a shame that this is part of the history of the United States. I can't believe it's happening in my lifetime, Lexi.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it is
so
surreal to watch all of this happening. And, of course, this is now the fourth indictment here. And in his previous court appearances, when this has all happened, he hadn't had to take a mugshot before or go through this process. So maybe explain to viewers why this time around we're seeing some differences.
Oh, I love this
Well,
shot.
let's start off why the other three were different. And the other three were different because of special privileges. Meaning that if you or I were to go into New York County Court and we were going to go commit a crime that we were going to see something along the lines of New York City, just think about that for a second. Alvin Bragg, the DA, we would be getting mugshots. We would be treated like the felons that he's being charged with. That would happen if the feds came after us. I can't fathom a worse day than the feds coming after us. But Donald Trump has been getting privileges, and maybe they're just and maybe they're right because he is a former president and he is a leading contender for office. But in Georgia, the Georgia sheriff said he's not giving him any special privileges, and he's going to treat him just like everyone else.
Yes.
We saw Mark Meadows, his chief of staff, just try and get out of getting arrested. Meadows got arrested.
Awesome.
It happened for Meadows. It happened for Giuliani. It happened for Ellis. She's the only one that I saw smiling in the pictures so far of all of them. We'll see if Trump smiles too. Maybe he has pearly whites. But at the end of the day, this is the normative way. I think that's really the key. What's happening in Georgia is what should happen to everyone. Everywhere else, Trump got a special privilege. So this isn't the weird one. The other three times were the weird ones, Lexi.
This guy's on
Andrew,
Fox
let's
saying
put
this.
up an image here of who has so
David
far
Schaefer's
surrendered
smiling.
in this. You can take a look here, of course, among them, as you mentioned, Mark Meadows, as well as Rudy Giuliani, along with some others here. And this comes the day before the deadline. Tomorrow at noon was the deadline for Trump and the 18 co-defendants in this to surrender to the Fulton County Jail. And then, of course, once Trump does arrive and have his mugshot taken, he'll be added to this list as well. When you look at the 18 co-defendants that are also listed in this, number one, are you surprised by how many co-defendants there are? And obviously, just considering this was such a lengthy investigation, years long, are you surprised by the number of co-defendants who are also included in this?
I think I'm more surprised about the 30 unindicted co-conspirators and to see who they're going to be.
Wait, there's 30
we have 19
unindicted
now that are indicted.
Sorry, what?
19 people after a 2.5-year investigation. But you have to be sitting there if you were part of this or involved in this and wonder if you're one of those 30 people, if you could be indicted too. There's nothing that stops an unindicted co-conspirator from eventually being indicted. It's a major ordeal. I want to cherry pick two of the people, though, that are interesting. Chesebro. We heard about that in your package before with our Fox News reporters. And what they were explaining, and it's so right, Chesebro just asked for a speedy trial, which spurred Trump's new attorney, this Steve Sato, to do a severance. We'll see if we're going to see these cases go together. The second one of interest, on Monday. Mark your calendars. Mark Meadows has a hearing scheduled where we might see Roethlisberger, the Secretary of State from Georgia. They're telling he might be subpoenaed to this. And Mark Meadows is trying to say this should be a federal case because he was doing what he was supposed to do when he was as a chief of staff for Trump. That's another interesting one. So to answer your question, it's not just the 30 that aren't indicted. It's not just the 18 others that are indicted. It's the chaos that all 49 put together in the judicial system, which will always keep drama unfolding, Lexi.
What is happening?
And Andrew, you can see all these different
What is going on?
that we're continuing to bring in here as he is getting closer to arriving there at the Fulton County Jail. Andrew, we are going to check in with you a little bit later here. We are going to right now put up a couple shots from outside of the Fulton County Jail as we wait for him to arrive. Andrew, we're going to touch base with you just very soon here as we leave this shot up for viewers. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for that first bit of analysis, and we'll talk to you in just a little bit.
How did they miss that?
Thank you.
I did not read the indictment, and I read the other indictment, the one from Jack Smith, at least like the first 10 pages. Holy shit. 30. So they don't even know half of the players. If you're one of the 19, there's almost double that number that you don't know about. You're like got 30-40%. Holy cow, how do you win? Whenever we do the prisoner's dilemma, it's like 4 people. And that's like difficult. So that's like a very serious dilemma. You get up to 50, like the whole cake, the whole souffle gives out. It's also kind of wild that there's like, am I just bad at the internet, or is there like very little commentary? What is going on? Oh, that's him arriving. Ah, that's him arriving right there. Yeah, that's incredible. Oh, maybe is this it? That looked like the gate we were seeing earlier from the street level. Holy. Yeah, I can't wait to see the beach balls.
All right, you're taking a live look overhead here as we've been following the motorcade as it makes its way to the Fulton County Jail. It looks like they might just be arriving there. We want to go out right now to Fox's Caroline Elliott, who is there at the Fulton County Jail. Caroline, thanks so much for joining us here. Tell us a little bit more about what you've been seeing. It does look like the former president has just arrived.
Oh, this is a bad feed. I might have to switch it back to C-SPAN.
Well, Lexi, from our vantage...
I don't think we're going to get funny commentary anymore. C-SPAN's probably going to beat them out when it comes to the feed. That guy was really funny, though. I couldn't tell what side he was on. This. How are you doing? Problem is I just start playing like 3-4 videos. Yeah, there was never much to see at the street level. Dang, maybe the Fox News lady was the right...
that they want to.
Oh, hell yeah.
The Democrats is crooked, and they get by with it, but no, the Republicans, good old Trump, he gets into it for every little thing they can get him for.
Music to my ears.
4 indictments, 91 charges, 2 federal charges, 1 of those playing out in New York, 1 now, the one we're watching tonight as it plays out in Fulton County, Georgia, about those election results back in 2020, specifically in that state.
Wow.
The booking part of the process happening tonight, the arraignment to happen later, a court date possibly starting in October concerning this one case, as aside from all the others that the former president
That's too much information.
This is Anne Marie, Mount Laurel, New Jersey, Independent Line.
Good evening. Thank you for taking my call, and good evening to all those listening. What I'm about to say is not directed to those in this country and around the world who know what's really going on here.
What's
in
really
other
going
words, you know the truth.
You know.
It's directed at those who don't know
That
the
means
truth
you, chat.
of what's going on.
Not me.
I'm sure there are people who are taking great joy in what they're seeing and hearing on their TV sets right now.
Yeah.
I feel very sorry for you.
Aww.
Because one day your joy will become deep sorrow.
Aww.
You have no concept of what's really happening
Aww.
and what this is doing to the United States of America. This is just another phase to destroy this country.
Oh,
They're
my goodness.
taking away every agency we ever had. Now they're attacking what we had, one of the greatest justice systems in the world. That's now become two-tier.
All that civility.
Only one ruling class gets justice while the other does not.
Okay, we're watching the ruling class.
Linda in Illinois, Democrats line. Hi.
Democrat, let's go.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I'm calling because I want to say that nobody is above the law.
Yeah.
You know, there's been so many things that's been happening, that's been going on, that is unjust. I could only pray that people will open their hearts, pay attention, and notice and realize that what our country needs is a just country for all.
Realize.
His children, and you know, there's no exceptions. But again, I just pray that people will look around them, see what's going on, and understand that something needs to change. Our leader and commander in chief should be as close to a role model as possible.
Here.
Not unjust in things that we are seeing that's going on and that's happening.
Thank you.
I can only pray. Thank you, and you have a safe, blessed day.
Let's hear from Clay.
Oh,
Republican
she closed.
line. This is from South Carolina. Hello.
Republican.
Hello. This is a black eye to the United States. I mean, it's really ridiculous the way they have hounded him. Talking about Trump. I mean, they were out to get him from the beginning.
Get him.
And these Democrats, they are crooked. I mean,
crooked.
It's terrible. Go Trump. Love you, brother.
Go Trump.
Expected to be fingerprinted as part of the process tonight. The reporting saying biometric information such as scan of his eye expected to take place.
Oh man, this is
yet to be determined if there will be a mugshot, like one of the many mugshots you've probably seen on social media or perhaps on television of the former president's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, the latest one to join that group. But many of the other co-defendants there are taking mugshots as well. It's expected, we'll see as it plays out during the course of the evening, whether the former president will be part of that as well. On our line for Independence, Pete in Connecticut, New Haven. Hello.
Yes.
Independent?
Thank you for taking my call. All I can say is all you Republican Trump supporters are brain dead. He's nothing but telling lies about he has a big ego problem. He only cares about himself. I don't understand where the Republicans are coming from.
How does that apply to specifically the events of today for the president or the former president?
Good question.
Well, he should be booked. He should be booked like everybody else. So, I mean, who ever heard of a president having a record of being convicted? Well, he hasn't been convicted yet, but he will be. Who wants the president? Number one thing, what the world's going to think about this whole thing if he becomes president? All I can say is all these Republican supporters are brain dead. Brain dead. That's all.
Okay. From next call goes to Kelly. Kelly, line for Democrats, Waterford, Michigan.
Democrats.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. I agree with the last caller. It absolutely boggles my mind the level of willful ignorance that these Republicans operate out of.
Willful ignorance. That's so good. I'm fucking dying. That's so funny.
How they don't believe that this man has done things over and over that warrants 4 indictments and more. How they just willfully just ignore it. It boggles my mind.
Boggles mine too.
No one is above the law.
Woo! Preach.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
As the caller mentioned, this is the latest one playing out tonight.
Oh my God.
The president, the former president, and the security also entering the Fulton County Jail.
I forgot how much I love C-SPAN.
He landing at Hartsfield International just after 7 o'clock today, and so we'll see And there's a video from earlier on, the president and other staff heading to the motorcade, and then the motorcade taking him to Fulton County Jail. The process playing out as we speak. We'll see how long it takes before the president is expected to get back on the plane, head back to New Jersey. Also reporting later on, he's supposed to do an interview with one of the networks. That's one of the things to watch out for as these events go on for today. Sam, this is Darlene. Darlene in Louisiana, Republican line. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Republican?
I just wanted to state that no one is above the law.
Here.
Okay.
That's
all?
it.
All right.
That's it.
Sam is next. Sam on our independent line.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm an immigrant. I've been living in America for almost 40 years. Even though tonight is a very sad night, yet it brought back the confidence of the country that I love, that I give blood to, that I can die for.
Ooh.
So, yes, it is sad. But the 4 years of Mr. Trump presidency brought something to America I never saw it in the last 40 years I've been living here. It saddened me that I feel that the division, that the level of division that we have right now, it's so sad, it breaks my heart.
Wow.
Yet, tonight activity, it brought back the confidence, the justice that I know this land is the land of the free.
Well, these are only charges. There have been no convictions as of yet, so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
I think these lines are getting a little mixed up.
But still, at least just to bring him here, that's awesome. That's it. That's it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's Sam. There was reporting early on today from many of the papers that outside of the jail, far away from where the actual activity is taking place, many of the former president's supporters gathering, carrying signs, showing support for the former president. He was expected to go to the jail. Also reporting from not too long ago that amongst the president's supporter, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative of Georgia, reportedly on site or at least in the area of the Fulton County Jail where many of Mr. Trump's supporters, some detractors as well, but that's just some of the pictures taking place. The motorcade buzzed by very few minutes ago, so now not a lot of activity there to the entrance, but we expect that once the activities of the former president are done, you will see the motorcade come out again as they head back to the airport. Bonnie is next. Bonnie,
it's going to take a while until we
Georgia,
see the pictures, I guess, eh?
Hi. I just have a word. This is just so ridiculous. The president we currently have is talking about leg hair and is just a complete joke clown show. And we have a president that for the 4 years totally transformed our country, and this is how he's treated. This is just ridiculous. That's all I have to say.
There are 13 charges in relation to the Georgia charges. We showed them to you earlier,
but
just
awesome.
Amongst some of those for the former president, including the racketeering, solicitation of violation by oath of police, conspiracy to impersonate police, conspiracy to commit forgery, conspiracy to file false statements and writings, conspiracy to file false documents, and also filing false documents. That's just some of what's expected, and this is the booking phase, the arraignment phase yet to take place concerning former President Trump. Let's hear from Emily, Democrats line in Alton, Illinois.
Just smacks down
Yeah,
people
hello.
who are like...
I am just proud to live in a country where no one is above the law, and that even a former president of the U.S., perhaps the most powerful position in the entire world, must still follow the law in this country. To me, it's proof that we did not fall to the insurrection attempt on January 6th, and a warning to any who would try again. It's proof that we can recover from the deep divide affecting this country as justice is sought. Proof that the law applies to all, and that we are not ruled by kings or cult leaders. And so I just want to say I'm proud our justice system is working, and I hope that this country can heal and keep moving ahead.
How does this event specifically, to your words, help in that recovery of the deep divide? How do you connect those things?
Good question.
Because we have to acknowledge the truth of what happened, and part of doing that is seeing with our own eyes. Like, not only did we see with our own eyes the insurrection happen live But now we're seeing with our own eyes that, investigation, justice, the results of that. And my hope is that exposing the truth can be a beginning to healing that division.
Reporting from earlier this week and even as early as today that the indictments that the former president faces, it's the one in Georgia that might actually see televised to the public.
Oh my God!
When that's concerned.
Oh
Again,
God, I'm giving up porn.
Cases involved, state cases as well as involved as well concerning the former president. Wanda,
how do I turn this into something I can rub on my teeth?
Yes, thank you for taking my call finally. I think what is going on is totally ridiculous. And I'm sorry that the 4 years that Trump was in, we was not in the trouble that we are now. The elderly people, the sick people, the people that's out of work and has no insurance and stuff. It's just ridiculous. And what has Biden done?
History's happening.
I'm sorry, but with everything that I've been through, I haven't seen anything but go up, up, up. Children being killed, children starving.
Whoa.
It's
that took a heavy
it's just unreal with what we've been through with just a year that Biden's been in.
Eyebrows are crawling off his head.
Nothing but down.
Okay,
hang up.
Chase is next. Independent line in Indiana.
It's funny to hear Republicans talk about children starving when they consistently vote against, providing food for children in schools.
Debate, bro.
Is that Donald Trump is a rapist and a traitor to our country. Anyone who still supports him at this point, I really question your patriotism.
Again, if you want to text us your thoughts, you can do that at 202-748-8003. A couple of you in the viewing audience doing that tonight. This is Paul from Port Chester, New York, saying, I'm a Republican who supports the former president's policies. I just wish we had someone like him without all his baggage. Look, there's at least 10 other good candidates who could do the job. He needs to face the music.
Face the
That's
music.
Paul in New York. This is
Lock
John Carroll
him up.
saying, I'm embarrassed to be from Georgia with this orchestrated collusion of a
Collusion.
sham of an arraignment. The ignorant Democrats calling need to get their head out of the sand and open their eyes. Thank you. That's John Carroll. Again, this is just the booking portion of the president's legal issues when it comes from the state of Georgia. That's taking place tonight. The arraignment coming later, the actual trial date, and the trial coming later than that. And so this is the booking portion. It's part of our coverage. You can call again on the lines. You can text us. Many of you posting on social media too. You can continue to do that even after this program goes out. You can do that on Facebook. You can do that on X. Let's hear from Ann on our line for others.
This guy's
Ann is in Missouri.
Yes, sir, I am, and thank you very much for taking my call. I don't know what the hay is going on, but I mean, the only other good president before Trump was Reagan. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I listen to all of our folks, that are running for presidency and stuff like that, and I listen to them. Now, the thing is like, my concern is like every time, even they
I don't know what the hay is going on.
Trump got out of the office. Now they keep trying to mill up charges and stuff. Who is bringing these charges? I mean, is it social media? Is it media, like listening on phone calls?
Well, it's this case. It's the district attorney of Georgia in Fulton County. So,
do you know what a district attorney is?
So, but it's like, I mean, like I said,
she does not.
They tried to indict him after he lost the last election. Now, and they keep trying to trump up, pardon the expression, other charges and stuff. I mean, what is the problem? I mean, he was an awesome president. He brought us back to where we need to be. And I was actually listening to another lady,
hang up,
talking about, elderly care and, all
yeah.
this other happy stuff. And it's like, what is their problem with Trump? Why won't they just leave him alone?
I'm dying right now.
Let's hear from Nancy. Nancy's in Richmond, Virginia, Democrats line.
Oh, God, the contrast.
Thank you very much for taking my call. I'm not political at all,
but Trump is getting everything he deserves.
Hell yeah.
At
Let's
this
go, brother.
point. It's been too long going on for him to get these charges, and that's all I need to say. Thank you.
Okay. Continue on your calls. Again, you can call the lines. You can post on social media.
Man, that
Send
last
us
lady
text if you wish.
was just dying.
As we await the activities
dying on the shelf.
concerning the former president.
So funny.
There at the Fulton County Jail. There's the entrance on what you've probably heard tonight described on Rice Street there in Georgia. The president's motorcade going in a while ago.
Pure crack.
And expected to come out once the activities are done. This is Joshua. Joshua in Alabama, Republican line. Hi.
Yes.
Whoa. Watch your language, Joshua. You got to watch your language. Joshua, you there?
They have been asking.
Hold on. Before we go any further, watch your language, please, tonight, okay? But keep going.
Yes, sir. But they have been after him from the get-go because they don't like it that he tells the truth, and the truth hurts.
The truth does hurt.
If Hunter Biden can get away with everything that he's got away with, and Joe Biden taking bribes from other countries, and leaving coke in the White House, and they shut that investigation down real quick.
And how does that all relate to tonight?
I love it.
Well, there should be charges brought against them. If they can do it to Trump, they can do it to them.
They can.
There is reporting coming out of Georgia there that the former President Trump expected to leave the facility in several minutes, 2 or 3 minutes from what we've been told. So expect, as you keep watching that picture, activities to happen in connection to that. Several of you still sending us texts. This is Paul from California sending us a text tonight saying, I'm a Democrat and this is bad for Americans. I may not like the person or personality of former President Trump, but that doesn't mean we should treat him different. My question is, has there been any other politician ever held classified documents legally? If so, what happened to them? The law shouldn't be applied. The law should be applied the same and not up to interpretation. Paul referencing one of those other indictments concerning documents when it comes to the former president. Again, there's some of the police motorcade suggesting that the activities are happening. We'll keep watching as this goes on.
Is this your
Douglas
president?
In Illinois, Republican line.
Yeah, this is Douglas. Thanks for my call. I was just wondering if Trump's going to get a mug shot, because I was wanting to finish my deck of cards, get a Trump card.
Okay, that's Douglas there, and there's the motorcade leaving. We'll let you watch that.
Calls in C-SPAN to do a dad joke. What a legend! What a legend! It's the last caller too. That's incredible. Oh God, what a bit. She's filming. Everybody's filming. God, if this is all televised, America's gonna set fiber optic cables on fire just from how many people will watch it.
The former president leaving the facility there at Fulton County Jail along with security and other people attached to him, making their way back, expectedly back to Hartsfield International. Thanks to modern technology on the left side of your screen, pictures from inside the motorcade. And we'll continue to let that watch as we hear from Lamar. Lamar in Georgia, Democrats line.
Oh, please, more.
Yes, I'm proud to be a Georgian. I don't think anyone, even him, should break the law in Georgia.
Hell yeah.
We've got a Republican governor, and I like him. I think they're doing the right thing. Hold him accountable. Thank you.
There in New Hampshire, William on our line for others. William, thanks for calling. You are on. Go ahead.
Thank you for taking my call. I have to say that this bum is as guilty as they
Hey, Zenny, how you doing? It's awesome.
He's a liar. He's a cheat. And
the call-ins on CNN are
in his mouth, and nobody has ever said no to him. And he'll lie and he'll cheat to get what he wants. He said that the election was stolen from him, but it has been proven time and time again that it was not. And I feel that all of his brainwashed minions out there need to wake up, and they just have to realize that
wake up, sheeple.
They cannot support this person. I am all for a Republican president or a Democrat president who is true to this country. Now, some people say that he may have been true to this country, but as far as I'm concerned, Trump is all for Trump. Thank you.
From Kelly, Republican line in Alabama. Kelly in Alabama, hello.
Hello.
You're going to have to turn down your TV before we continue.
Okay, I'm away from it.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say Trump 2024, and this is ridiculous. And I just said all I got to say.
Why is that?
Why is it ridiculous?
Okay,
wow.
That's Kelly there.
That's incredible.
For those of you who are calling in today, if you would, once you're on the line, getting ready to
awesome.
Go, turn down the television. It cuts on the feedback, and then we can have a quicker conversation. We continue to watch the motorcade back to the airport after the president going through the process of booking. When it comes to those charges, when it comes to the 2020 election, specifically activities in Georgia. This is from Kansas. In line for Democrats, this is Sean.
Brainwash minions? Oh, you mean a cult?
little bit nervous. So, like people have said before, I do not think this is bad for America. I think our leaders being held to account is a good thing. I believe there to be a lot of corruption. Hopefully, these are some lofty charges levied against Trump, and the bar shouldn't be that high to deal with corruption in our government. Second to that, everybody calling in who's a super Trump fan, if he's really convinced that he is innocent, he's got all the evidence supporting him, you would think that he would want to get there, not push it out to 2026, get in there, show all of his magical evidence, and put this to rest, and then he can
all
get on with everything,
charges.
and people can just raise their arms and how
is it the morning
non-corrupt he is. But I think it's telling that all indication is to the opposite of that.
According to reporting today, a possible start of a trial in this case could be this October, October 23rd.
So early.
Being floated by the District Attorney, Fani Willis, so that's part of the process as well. By the way, when it comes to the District Attorney's activities, we're reporting earlier today from The Hill and other sources that the House Judiciary Chair, Jim Jordan, says that the committee will launch a probe into the District Attorney's activities and launch an investigation in connection to it. You can see that reporting at The Hill and elsewhere. Memphis, Tennessee, independent line. This is from Chile.
Hey, what's going on?
You're on. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, man. They need to let Trump go, man. This is a stunt by the Democrats. All politicians lie. America was built on a lie.
Yeah.
So they just need to leave him alone. This is Biden. All Biden.
This is all Biden. It's coming from the top.
Okay.
This is Biden's
from
America.
Justin in New Jersey, independent line.
It's awesome.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, thanks for taking my call. So, first, I'm a former Republican turned independent because of Donald Trump. So my message to all you Trump supporters is, how much is it going to take for you to see through the BS, right? So, here's a person who's been a criminal his entire life, and every, Trump supporter out there is saying that this is corruption, this is a witch hunt. Show me the evidence. And I guarantee that any Trumper out there did not read the indictments. The indictments has evidence that is black and white.
Did you read all the indictments?
I absolutely did, cover to
thank
cover.
God.
Cover
thank
to cover.
God. Thank
Fully
God
support what's happening today.
Oh my God.
And I do agree with one of your previous callers that this is a good day.
I'm so glad he asked that
America
question.
Because it shows that the American people will not stand for corruption.
What do you think of the district attorney's approach in this case specifically? What's good about, or at least what do you find positive about it?
Yeah, good question.
Look, I think it's black and white, right? If you read the indictment, I mean,
What's black and white?
Trump went out and
elaborate. You did your homework.
I'm not sure how to answer your question, but
Bro,
it's clearly in the indictment that he was trying to plan an insurrection, and that he was
that's not what this.
Part of a conspiracy.
Well, today is dealt with election issues, specifically in Georgia, not activities of January 6th.
You have no idea what you're talking about, buddy.
Correct. I mean, but if you read the indictment, didn't you hear the tapes? Right. I mean, all he said was we need 11,800 votes.
Okay, you're on topic.
Right. This is conduct unbecoming of a person in his
Pivot.
office.
Pivot.
And I think if anyone watched the Republican debates last night, Chris Christie was spot on. Love him or hate him, he was spot on. This is conduct unbecoming of a president.
Okay. Justin there in New Jersey. Let's hear from Kathy in California, Republican line.
Hello, thanks for taking my call. I'm not here to bash the Democrats by no means. I know we've got some good ones. I definitely want to say that people do not realize that Trump is the only man that has loved our country as much as he has. Who else has got the money that he has that would be doing what he's doing? He's putting his life out for us. And if people don't wake up, we're going to wind up being a communist country before too long.
Wake up, sheeple!
How does that deal with the 4 indictments, including the ones in Georgia that we're discussing this evening?
Well, okay, you want to talk about 4 indictments? What about Biden? You said what about Hillary?
Holy shit!
You got, what is she
can't.
He gets to sit in her house.
Oh my God!
Well, they got proof on that stuff. And his
Stay
son
on
has
topic.
A lot of foreign stuff going on. The indictments that they've got him on.
This man has left his body.
True. And if the people don't wake up,
Oh my
we're
God,
going
he's
to
dying.
lose our country. Everybody needs to just
Save him.
I'm not like bashing anybody or nobody. It's just we got to pay attention to the laws and to the rules. And I feel that Trump he's standing up for our country, and I don't care. I will vote for that man until the day I die.
Okay.
Well, okay, not a cult,
there in,
everybody.
California. It was just
not
after
a cult.
7 o'clock this evening. The
Holy
president's plane
shit!
landed at Hartsfield-Jackson International.
We don't know.
Took a
He got
motorcade
3
to the
Supreme
Fulton
Court
County Jail,
justices,
and now,
actually.
courtesy of technology and the motor pool
Massive
there,
victory.
the press pool, that motorcade heading back.
And they took away Roe v. Wade.
The former president's plane, where he's expected
Huge
to
victory.
take off from there. We're taking your calls for
Massive
a little while
W.
longer. Again, you can call in 202-748-8001 for Republicans. 202.
How does this man do it, though? He must be made of
for Democrats
stone.
and Independents. 202-748-8002.
Kind of
Text
mug.
us if you wish at 202-748-8000.
Oh God, this has been
Thomas in Flint,
going
Michigan.
to the-
Democrats line.
I don't know, like playground as a kid.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for taking my call. Can you hear me?
You're on. Go ahead.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'd just like to say, Republican or Democrat, that President Trump has divided this country like no other. He is guilty of something. Whether he's guilty of all the charges, we don't know. I'm not saying he'll go to prison, but I would definitely, if I was in an indictment with him, I would definitely give state's evidence because he's not going to prison. I wouldn't go to prison for Donald Trump. He's dividing our country.
In this election, in this Georgia case, it's the former president and 18 co-defendants.
Sheesh.
In this one case, as we've told you during the course of the day,
Plus 30
they have until
unindicted.
noon tomorrow to turn themselves in. Many of them already doing that, going through the process, getting fingerprinted, and as you've seen, also a mugshot as well,
Oh my
including
God, I
the
cannot
president's
wait.
former chief of staff, Rudy Giuliani, and others. No word yet on if the president himself getting a picture there. Let's hear from Sean. Sean is in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, independent line.
Hi, I'm just calling because I feel like today's actions are going exactly as they should. They're treating him like a normal person, like anyone should, because no one's above the law. I just want to see this mugshot and him wrinkled up in the camera.
Yeah, you're right,
But
Zenny.
whatever. Anyway, add me on Snap.
Leonard
Make me
Leo and
very
Federalist Society or
from
whatever.
Michael in Georgia, Republican line. You're next up.
But he did secure
Yes,
that.
sir. All I feel with this
Did sign that paper.
charges, you know, this
No,
man
it's
has
not.
done what
You
he
missed
has
that.
to do for our country. That's what makes the bigger issue of all. The thing that him being charged with all these, let's get all our facts first before we
Let's
say
get our
this man
facts.
has done this
Uh,
or done that.
yeah.
Let's get our facts.
Let's
that is our
get
biggest
'em.
issue with
Have
this
you got your
country right
facts?
now. Everybody
What do you mean
doesn't-
by let's get our facts first?
Which
What do
facts?
you mean by that?
What I mean by that is
Oh no, the
Democrats are
slightest amount of
saying one
pushback.
thing. Republicans are saying a different thing. Let's get our facts before we jump the gun. That's all we're doing is jumping the gun. This man should have had other evidence brought against him besides, the RICO case. Okay, well, let's say the RICO case against Biden and his family. That's the RICO case. Why hasn't that been brought
Why
up?
aren't we talking
Let's
about
get
Biden right
evidence
now?
First.
Why isn't Biden getting his
Excuse the man.
mugshot today?
This country is in crisis right now, folks. Veterans are hurting.
Oh
Disabled
my
people are
God.
hurting. This country is hurting because this man is done what he had to do to make sure we were taken care of as a country.
Yeah, hang that
now
shit
with
up.
what we have going on, the country is falling apart.
Country's
Let's
falling apart,
all
everybody.
get together and figure out what's right, what's
Okay.
wrong.
Michael there in Georgia giving us a call. Many
That's
of you,
another one of
calling
those,
us throughout the course
I
of
don't
the
know what
evening.
the hey is going on.
Again, we will continue to take those calls.
Yeah, you
as
do
we
not
watch
know
the
what's going
motorcade head back to the airport. Chicago's next. Democrats lying. Ken, hello.
Hello.
Hi, you're on.
Yeah, so I just want to say, okay.
So
I just
much
wanna say
whataboutism.
that, I mean, he does have a right to a fair trial, but I think that, we need to wait until how everything plays out with these indictments before we reserve any judgment. I am definitely not a Republican, but he does have a right to a fair trial. So I just want to see how the evidence comes out and how everything plays out before we reserve judgment on Donald Trump. And I think the January 6th insurrection was a big no-no for him. So I just think that we want to need to wait to see how everything plays out first before we reserve judgment.
That motorcade making fast work of getting back to the airport, told just in several minutes from now. Expected to be back there to the former president's plane, landing earlier this evening. In Maryland, this is Kelly, Independent Line.
Yes, hi, good evening. I believe this is democracy in action. It's the law. They wouldn't be charged with any of this unless they had sufficient evidence to process.
We have it. We have
Tyler up
parts
next.
of it.
Tyler
we have some
in
booking
Michigan.
details. This is an image. Donald Trump, Fulton County. He is 6'3" and 215 pounds. Blonde or strawberry blue. And we know the charges that he faces. But there it is, 6'3", 215. The mystery is finally dispelled. How did I lose? What? What happened? Okay.
To try to, keep people happy. Like I said, I just think it's a crock.
But how does that relate to the legal issues that the president has, including these in Georgia?
How is this relevant?
I feel like it's a show. I just feel like they're doing this because it's coming up that we're getting ready to have elections, and they're gonna try to block them away from getting any type of votes, and they're gonna try to steal the election again.
There's Tyler there in Michigan. Kathleen joins us from Iowa. Democrats line.
Thank you for taking my call. As I listen to callers, I do agree that there is sufficient evidence to bring these charges against Trump. And just like any other American would have to face charges for anything that we do, he does need to be held accountable. If Hunter Biden did something, he needs to be held accountable. I think that's one of the tenets of our society, is that we hold ourselves to a standard, and no one is above the law. We do not have kings here. I will say that I am dismayed at the level of animosity that exists between people in our country right now, with people identifying as Democrat or Republican and fighting each other over Donald Trump. Honestly, the man was elected president. He won fair and square. I don't argue about that whatsoever.
No, the Russians were in on it.
He didn't win the popular vote, but he won. He was my president. I respect the office.
He was my president
as the president of the United States. However,
she said it.
I do feel like when he lies, and the people around him have admitted they lied about this election being stolen, and people accept that. There is you do have free speech, but there is a limit to that. It's kind of like yelling fire in a crowded auditorium. You don't get to lie and spread propaganda to divide the country and then call yourself a great man. The people who are continuing to follow him and say that he is amazing for this country should look to say, am I okay with people lying to me? I feel like they're voting against their best interest and continuing to vote for this man.
Live alert.
And as I watch this
Live alert.
motorcade on TV, I keep looking at that and thinking how many tax dollars we have as a country invested in this man.
She's hitting all her talking points.
Having all this security and being
It's a psyop,
escorted
everybody.
by,
Don't listen.
24
Cover your ears.
motorcycles and how many cars and people who are giving small donations paying for his airplane. It makes me sad that we fight about giving, dollars to feed children, and we don't argue about the fact that we're sinking tax dollars into this man.
Okay, that's Kathleen in Iowa. It looks
what
like
about the
now
tax
they've arrived at the airport, the motor pool there, including the press, one of the press vehicles in which you see people running out, including the cameras that are still running as part of the live feed being provided
this
to
is
us
such a
by
bad shot.
them. With the president back at the airport, we'll see what happens as if he goes on the plane to take off. Again, your calls will continue. Nandon from California, independent line. Go ahead, you're on.
I'm going to turn this into a
Hi.
lotion.
Can you hear me?
You're on, go ahead.
My fellow Americans, let me tell you something that is very important.
Let me tell you.
In my view. If you do not understand history, and if you do not learn from history, you have a heavy price to pay.
This is true.
Now let us go back to the plan that was done at the Capitol on January 6th.
Well, we're talking about the booking charges of tonight. Specifically, what do you mean by your statements previous?
This guy's going to do a whole lecture.
When it comes to issues in Georgia.
If he's indicted based on the information and all that we have, and if he's able to find a way to get out of it, that is why we are worried. Because what's going to happen is he's going to get back into power. He's going to place his own people in various departments, and he's going to declare an emergency. And that is where we are going to be going, because he's going to try and become a dictator.
Holy shit. That's Nandon there in Georgia or California joining us. Again, we're at the airport back at Hartsfield International. Secret Service outside was the
year is 1939.
The vehicle that the former president is in. Don't know if he's going to make comments before he boards his plane. We'll continue to watch. We'll continue to take your calls too. In Georgia,
this guy's crushing it as a host. Masterclass.
Yes, I think it's a sad day in America that we can't come together and just honor one seat. I mean, the president's seat. I mean, we've spent the last 6-7 years trying to destroy one person through taxpayers' dollars. We've just spent a ton of money on it. America's more divided today than it's ever been. I've been sitting here listening for the last hour about, how it's divided, how Trump drove his division. That division was there well before Trump. It'll be there well after Biden. America needs to come together with our governors, our senators, our state representatives.
Talking into his watch?
They need to get back to business and help run this country right.
Okay, that's Doug there in Dalton, Georgia, calling us on our line for Republicans. Again, let's see what plays out as the former president leaves his.
That's my president. That's him. Oh, he's going to come talk.
Thank you very much for being here. I really believe this is a very sad day for America. This should never happen. If you challenge an election, you should be able to challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election, a stolen election, and I should have every right to do that. As you know, you have many people that you've been watching over the years do the same thing, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Stacey Abrams or many others. When you have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to, otherwise you're going to have very dishonest elections. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have 3 other instances. It's election interference. So I want to thank you for being here. We did nothing wrong at all. And we have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, that we think it's very dishonest.
God damn it, he's so
thank
good.
you all very much, and I'll see you.
That's my president.
Thank you very much.
That's my president.
He's
He's innocent.
How is this different from the previous investigation, sir?
Innocent until proven guilty. I love how, Any situation, he's ready. He's got some weird script that will just get him through the moment, rally the troops. Oh my god. Oh man. It's gonna be a crazy year. I'm a little afraid for 2024. I don't know. Aw. It's just Trump GPT. Crash diet and fiber
finishing up
pills.
what is just over an hour, about an hour and 10 minutes since he landed at Hartsfield International Airport to answer in those booking charges. So this will play out over the next days and months. Again, we are going to talk more about this booking in Atlanta on our Washington Journal program. You'll get a chance to call in and give your comments on the events of today. You can see that coverage on Washington Journal. That starts at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Join us for your calls, texts, and tweets on former President Trump's booking in Atlanta.
Are you going to show me my mugshot? Where is my mugshot? That's not how it ends, does it? Is it?
A healthy democracy doesn't just look like this.
What is this? Is that an ad? No mugshot? Oh man, people are dropping all sorts of like crazy links in the Reddit thing. I got a mugshot. I got the mugshot right here. Oh man. Fake. Oh man, I'm looking through, but oh man, I don't know. 215. Okay, let's see.
Of Columbia Law School. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, John.
So it was a year ago today. President Biden announced a sweeping student loan debt forgiveness plan. The official White House release, Biden to announce loan forgiveness for borrowers who need it most.
Okay, maybe we go
what
to
was
the
in that plan.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. We're going to go to the interview by Tucker Carlson. We started in on this last night during the debate while we wait for the mugshot.
It's debate night, but we're not in Milwaukee.
We got like maybe 5 minutes into it.
I could tell you, but I don't want to.
It was like this really odd interaction about whether Jeffrey Epstein unalived himself and Tucker Carlson like insisting on it and Trump just being uncomfortable.
Right.
Okay, that should catch you up. Also, this weird piece of log. Oh, I messed with the slider too much.
Public, and they hid it, and like, why are they doing that? And clearly Barr knew, but why would Bill Barr be covering up the death of Jeffrey Epstein?
Bill Barr didn't do an investigation on the election fraud either. Okay, he said he did, and he pretended he did, but he didn't.
Have a good one, Zenny. Peace.
Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Take care of yourself.
Barr just
Lots of water.
wouldn't let him do it. It was crazy. Barr became so petrified, so frightened of being impeached. They were going to impeach him. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
It's not a big moment in history. But they said, we're going to impeach. You know, they play a much rougher game, the left, the lunatics.
The lunatics.
They were going to impeach Bill Barr, and he was petrified. Now, how do you not get impeached? Don't do any of this stuff. But he didn't do the job there. I don't know what he did with Epstein, but possibly he didn't.
Do you think it's possible that Epstein was killed?
Oh, sure, it's possible. I mean, I don't really believe. I think he probably committed suicide. He had a life with, beautiful homes and beautiful everything, and he all of a sudden he's incarcerated and not doing very well. I would say that he did, but there are those people. There are many people. I think you're one of them, right? But a lot of people think that he was killed. He knew a lot on a lot of people.
He was killed.
You think so?
I think the closer you look, I'm not a conspiracy person at all.
First question,
I believe
by the way.
Everything I hear. But yeah, the closer you look into it, I mean, the Attorney General of the United States, your Attorney General clearly lied about the Epstein death.
Yeah,
and
he was.
Why?
He was certainly. It wasn't well done. They had no cameras. They had no anything. Everybody was sleeping, and a case could be made. Look, I'm not going to get involved in it, but I can tell you a case could be made either way. But it certainly wasn't the most well-run place.
So the reason I'm asking you is I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics, for real, and then won. It started with protests against you, massive protests,
Right.
organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice.
Right.
And now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you? Honestly.
They're
This is such a weird
savage
segue.
animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most
Yeah.
of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or
Right.
conservatives. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody. But I've seen what they do. I've seen the lengths that they go to. When they make up the Russia, when that's exposed,
Russia,
and
Russia.
they go down, and Barr should have gone after them, and other people should have gone after. And they did very late, because the Durham report came out. It was fairly good. It could have been a lot tougher, I guess, but it was fairly good. But it explained how corrupt it was. I'll tell you who did a great job was the Inspector General Horowitz. He did a phenomenal report. You didn't have to go to Durham. He did it on Comey and on, I guess, McCabe and some others, and it was a vicious, it was basically a true report, how bad they are. But these people are sick people. These are people that I think they hate our country. You want to know the truth. When you see open borders, when you see these policies,
The
that
open
they
borders.
have, and so many other things, it's so sad to see. You know, we have a country that's very fragile right now. I've never seen, I will say, look, I ran in 16, which was 15, but I ran in 16, election in 16.
This got
and
so many
It was
views.
tremendous spirit. In 20,
So
there was even more
boring,
spirit.
and it
We
got
many
240
millions we got millions and millions
million
more votes. You know,
views.
it wasn't even a contest. People said, well, what do you think of 20? I said, we did much better. We did. You got to base it on the number of votes. We got many more votes in 20 than we did in 16. But the election was rigged. It was a rigged election. And with COVID, they used COVID to cheat in a lot of different things, and we have so much on it. It's like so easy. But we had judges that didn't want to look. We had people didn't want to get involved. They called you, he's a conspiracy theorist if you say anything about the election. But I have never seen spirit like there is right now. Even coming down here, just the people on the road that are just absolutely going crazy. And the reason is, I think they like me, and I know they love my policies. I hope they like me too. You know, a lot of people say they don't like me, but they like my policies. I think they like me.
Oh my
But
God, this is so hypnotic.
I've never seen spirit like it is right now. And the reason is because crooked Joe Biden is so bad. He's
Crooked
the
Joe
worst
Biden.
president in the history of our country. I don't think he's going to make it to the gate, but you know, you never know. But he's a corrupt person, so corrupt that I took the name off Hillary. You know, I don't do two people at one time. I took the crooked Hillary and I retired the name. That was a good day for her. I bet she was very happy. And I used it for Joe because it's crooked Joe. But Joe is really...
But you don't think he's going to make it to November of 24?
Well, I think he's worse mentally than he is physically. And physically, he's not exactly a triathlete or any kind of an athlete. You look at him, he can't walk to the helicopter. He walks. He can't lift his feet out of the grass. You know, it's only
So
2
much
inches
body
at the
shaming.
White House, right? That's not a lot. But you watch him, and it looks like he's walking on toothpicks. So, and then you see him on the beach where he can't lift a chair. You know, those chairs are meant to be light, right? They're like 2 ounces.
Yeah.
You lift them up.
Can't remember
He can't
this.
lift the chair. He can't walk to the chair. And I don't know what they're doing with the beach. You know, this beach is seeming to play a
shot.
big role, but they love pictures of him on the beach. I think he looks terrible on the beach. He looks terrible on the beach.
Skinny legs.
Well, he can't walk through the sand. You know, sand is not that easy to walk through, but when he walks through it, he can't walk through the sand. And there's somebody in there that thinks he looks fabulous at the beach. I think he looks horrible at the beach. Plus, the beach doesn't represent what a president's supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be working. You're supposed to be getting us out of
Oh
that
wow,
horrible,
shit. Apparently there may have been a bomb threat reported at the Fulton County Courthouse, according to the Spectator Index. I'm not actually sure about this source. I think quite a few people follow it, but not any of like big mainstream names. Weird. 2013? Yeah, apparently there's a bomb threat. Okay, they're probably going to be our source for the mugshot. They seem like they're right on top of it. We were watching the interview.
Horrible a war that we're very much involved in with Russia and Ukraine. You could do that. You could do that very easily. I believe you could do that I don't believe he could do it because he's just incompetent. But that's a war that should end immediately, not because of one side or the other, because hundreds of thousands of people are being killed. Can you imagine
hundreds of
and
thousands
are going into that building and blowing it up and knocking it down? And who can? Why should anything? Why should anybody? Human beings, these are human, whether they're Russian or Ukrainian or whatever they are. It's got to be stopped, and it can be stopped very easily. It would have never started if I were president.
If I were president.
So back to Biden, I'm interested. So you think he's failing? He obviously is failing. I think it's clear to everybody.
Clearly.
But that would make Kamala Harris the candidate?
Well, not really. I mean, I guess they'd have maybe a free-for-all. A lot of people say she has to remain for certain reasons the candidate. She has to. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think that other people would stand for it. She has some bad moments. Her moments are almost as bad as his. I think his are worse, actually.
Yeah.
Bro.
But
she seems pretty senile, too.
She seems senile. Yeah, apparently. Okay.
It's weird. It's weird. But she has bad moments. And
in rhyme? What do you?
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here, and then the bus will go there, because that's what buses do. And it's
that's
weird.
not a rhyme. None of that rhymed.
This is not a president of the United States.
Sing song.
And I think they probably have some kind of a primary, and other people will get involved.
So hard. He's so weird to listen to.
Could be. I mean, you know, I always get along well with him, believe it or not. But could be him, could be somebody else. He's got a big load on his shoulders, because you look at California, what's happened. But I don't know if the American
see the
people
size of that load.
The people that vote for him, I don't even know if they care. You know, you look at so many of the things that are going on, and people don't seem to be. In the old days, if you had a bad record, it meant a lot. Today, if you have a bad record, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, he looks good. He's a nice-looking guy, speaks well.
Wow, really? No shot.
But Biden, every time you watch him talking, it's like he's walking on eggs. You're waiting for him to collapse.
What? He's walking on eggs?
He almost always does. And I got to know the leaders of all of the countries, essentially, but the big ones. And the bigger, the tougher the leader. You know, it's like sort of, I guess maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. But I got to know President Xi of China and Putin and Kim Jong-un, North Korea.
Loves these strong men.
Kept us out of a nuclear war. We would
loves them.
40,000 dead soldiers right now. They'd drop a nuke right on top of the military base. But we have 40,000 soldiers over there.
What?
And I did great. I got along with him great. It's a good. That's a positive. You know, the press said, he said nice things about Kim Jong-un. I also said horrible things at the beginning. Horrible enough that he wanted to talk. And we talked, and we met in Singapore. We met actually twice.
We heard.
And we had
met twice.
Unbelievable meetings. I know him very well. We
love
were in
letters.
great shape with him.
What do you think he and Xi and Putin think of Biden?
I think they can't believe it. I think they probably say this is some kind of a system. You know, they had great respect for our country. They respected me. They had great respect for our country when I was there. Every one of them. Look, if you go to North Korea, you take a look at what happened. You know, the Olympics was dead. South Korea spent billions on the Olympics. Nobody was going to go. They didn't want to get blown up. They called me and they said, we are going to let the Olympics proceed. This is North Korea. I said, you should go into the Olympics. Put your athletes in. It wasn't like, you know, they were big on athletes because, you know.
Famine.
But they went in, and they actually participated. And within about 2 days, the entire thing was sold out. And if it wasn't me, that would have never happened. But I got along very well with him, and that's a positive thing. He does have massive nuclear power, by the way. And if Hillary would have gotten in, or
there might be some commentary here. 1 sec.
It all, Lord knows the debate probably didn't change anything last night. This will probably just help him.
Hogan, I'm going to ask you to stand by for us here. I want to get to Greg Bluestein, a reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, somebody who has been following this case, this issue for years. And Greg, here we are again with Georgia in the spotlight in a big way. From a political perspective, it's one of the most important battlegrounds in the 2024 election. And our team's reporting is that there has been some concern bubbling inside the Trump orbit about how this plays for him down the road, not in a primary, but in a general election. Talk us through what you're seeing and hearing from your sources.
Exactly. Donald Trump has a dominant lead in Georgia Republican primaries, just like he has in primaries around the nation in early polling. But it's the general election that Republicans are very worried about because they don't see a conceivable path to victory in November 2024 without winning a state like Georgia. They feel like if Georgia's gone, then it's over for them. You know, Chris Christie has been all over Georgia saying that very message as a reason why, if not him, Republican voters should back someone other than Donald Trump because they fear that if Donald Trump's on the ballot, he is doomed in Georgia. And you know, there's data points pointing to that, right? There's a significant block of swing and independent voters who just can't stomach Donald Trump, and they can't stomach voting for Donald Trump's allies. And we've seen that in 2020, 2021, and 2022.
Greg, what can you tell our viewers about the DA here, Fani Willis? What should people know about her and understand about her? I know she was elected, she beat her former boss, but what else should we know?
Yeah, well, you're right. She beat her former boss, which was a huge deal because he was a long-time incumbent who really struck fear in the hearts of many lawyers and people around the community here in Atlanta. She's gone after corrupt teachers. She's gone after drug dealers. She's gone after street gangs. She's someone who's an expert in RICO law. A decade ago, she helmed the prosecution of a massive corruption and a cheating scandal involving Atlanta Public Schools and secured prosecutions and plea deals from most of the defendants in that case. So this is someone not to be trifled with, and she has been working on this case for more than 2 years. That's why we're seeing her ready to take it to trial, even if it's speedy, even if it's quicker than many legal experts anticipate.
There is an Elon Musk space. Nobody speak until Trump joins. At 2,000 people with like Musk and a bunch of other right-wingers. They're like, please, please, Trump, please join us.
Former President Trump, active, of course, online as he has been from the second that he jumped into the campaign back in 2015. In just the last couple of seconds here, posting video of himself on the tarmac, publicly, of course, pointing to the moment that he is in. He's already posted on his online social media platform about his arrest, his booking procedures, etc. And we should also note here, if you are watching us on a second screen here, if you're going back and forth, there is a bunch of fake mugshots circulating online.
True.
Those are not the real deal, but it is indicative here of the, as Tom has said, and I think rightly so, the iconic image that we expect to see coming out from the former president's booking, Greg.
Everybody's sweaty.
Yeah, we might not see that image tonight. We might not see it early tomorrow morning. We expect to see it, though.
What?
But at the same time, look, even Donald Trump has promoted those fake images to sell T-shirts and merchandise for his campaign. So be very wary of those images you see unless they have the Fulton County Jail watermark and you're seeing it from trusted sources. But it's going to be iconic instantly. It's going to be on front pages of newspapers. It's going to be.
Oh, I cannot wait. Tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day.
So it's really it's just this weird.
I'll be able to talk to all my coworkers about this.
Sensing that this image is almost going to be out, and it's going to be something that we remember for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, and you wonder if there's a safety aspect to this, right? Do they want to release it at a certain time to make sure that it doesn't lead to people seeing the images and maybe getting upset and then doing something else? I'm sure they're taking all that into consideration. Greg, stand by for us. I do want to bring in Chuck Todd again. As we talk about, this mugshot we may or may not see tonight, we know the president has raised a lot of money through these various indictments. If you count up all the criminal charges, I think he's being charged with more than 90 different crimes. It's costing him a lot of money. It's going to cost him millions of dollars, but he's able to raise money. Explain to our viewers how that process is working, because he's paying with these legal fees really through some of his political moves, correct?
He is. You know, this first began, before he was an active candidate, he had the RNC, believe it or not, paying some of his legal fees. When he became an active candidate, they had to get rid of that deal. So then he used his super PAC. But he's using all political money. He's raising money from others to do this. It's not illegal, but he's not he's not calling it a legal defense fund, right? He is just simply using his campaign rhetoric to raise this money to pay these lawyers. And, that's it reminds you that he has to keep running in order to defend himself. And in order to defend himself, he has to keep running. Like, we're in this sort of doom loop with him between the campaign and the legal issues that he's dealing with, because in order to pay for his defense, he needs the campaign to be active and relevant. So, it's funny. If he loses, I suspect he never stops running for president. I know that seems like the last thing anybody wants to think about is the next campaign. But I truly believe, because how much his legal defense is intertwined with his ability to raise money and be a sort of a political martyr here. You know, as long as he's breathing, if he's got legal problems, I think he's going to try to always seem like an active political candidate.
But what's also interesting here, Chuck, is the way that the legal fees are an issue, not just for the former president, as we're talking about here, but for his 18 other co-defendants in this case. Vaughn Hilliard is joining us now and knows about this. We've already seen pushback from at least one of those co-defendants, upset that she's not getting financial help from the broader MAGA Inc. super PAC supported by those who support former President Trump, Vaughn.
Right, there was financial support for the folks who were going through the January 6th investigation. That was being paid by what is called the Save America PAC. This was a group that was set up to support Donald Trump and his political endeavors post-presidency. Well, that account had tens of millions of dollars in it, and it went towards legal services for Donald Trump and others, but it is almost run dry, and that is where you see none of these other 18 defendants yet receiving any sort of financial help. There's one individual who is actually one of the 19 co-defendants who is still inside of this jail because he did not post bond. He did not come up with a bond agreement here. And, you know, in a last-minute fundraising pitch over text message and email here this evening, Donald Trump said, "I'm going in to be arrested," and was asking for donations. 90% of that donation, it actually goes to his 2024 campaign, but 10% of that goes to that organization, that PAC, which helps with the legal expenses. But Donald Trump is looking at 4 different trials ahead of him here that are going to undoubtedly be expensive, and there's serious questions about the actual extent to which funds are available for others. But, you know, the likes of Jenna Ellis, who is that lawyer that you're mentioning, who used to be very much of a Donald Trump ally, she has actively called and questioned where the financial support is, because so many of these defendants, they note that they were acting on behalf of Donald Trump. And right now, the man that they contend that they were acting on behalf of is done very little to support them here now as they face their own legal peril.
Vaughn, stand by for us. Ryan Nobles covers Capitol Hill for us. Ryan, we know so many in the Republican caucus there have stood by former President Trump through all of these processes. And we also know now that there's some movement in the House with investigations and Fani Willis as well.
Yeah, that's right, Tom, and there's no doubt, no coincidence at all that we saw the House Judiciary Committee this morning send a letter to Fani Willis asking for any information that she has related to her investigation that could involve the federal government on any level. They're interested in whether or not she's had any interactions with...
The store closes at 9 o'clock, which means I might not get cookies and milk tonight, which might be a bit of a problem. And it's not a guarantee we're going to see this mugshot. I'll probably stream tomorrow, but it'd have to be like right at 5 or something, because I'm going to a party after Friday night party. We're going to celebrate a good friend and celebrate him. So, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I had a blast. Those C-SPAN call-ins were absolute pure fire. I've never laughed so hard in my life. It's good seeing you. I hope you're all doing well. I'll be around soonish, trying to figure out what a regular schedule might be. I'm all over the place now. Lots of cool stuff happening. And yeah, I'll see you later. I think this is it. I'm gonna go get some cookies and milk and gorge and watch TV and relax. But I hope you have a good night. I'll see you later. Au revoir. À la prochaine. Bye bye. As we say, au revoir, my chumbums. Okay, all right, I'll see you later.